Simon from the Beaufort Group. Thank you very much for attending the AI Summit today. I just really wanted to get your thoughts on this material from an advisor's perspective. Do you think it's been useful material for advisors?
Yeah, I think it's been very useful. I'm not sure that it gives any more clarity on the challenges that we've got, but it's certainly useful. Knowledge in this space is terribly powerful. I just think that we need greater degree of clarity with the regulator, with the industry as a whole, with the providers, so that advisors feel comfortable in advising clients. And I think that what I've heard today is a lot of words around due diligence, and I think that due diligence sits with the advisor, and it sits with the provider, and it sits with the end user, with the client, and it's kind of getting to know really how far you can realistically go with that due diligence, and what depth do you need to have achieved to be really sure that you can advise as an advisor. How much due diligence has the provider done, and how much can you rely on that? And the due diligence on behalf of the customer, of course, is how experienced are they? Are you abdicating some responsibility to them? It's that sort of thing, really, and that's the challenge that pervades throughout all of these the things that are being talked about today, I think.
So you feel these are obstacles to advisors being able to comfortably advise on alternatives. What sort of things would help you get over those obstacles as an advisor? What sort of things would you be looking for?
Well, if we lived in an ideal world, you could have a kind of set of criteria for the due diligence, and I think that's one of the problems that we've got, is there isn't a set of criteria. We'll only know whether the due diligence was insufficient after the event, and that's not really good enough, and I think that's what frightens advisors off. So if you could sort of pin yourself to 10 key issues that you had to be certain of to be able to provide advice on some of these products, that would be hugely helpful.
And for advisors who do have clients who are interested, what sort of clients are going to be appropriate, and in what sort of portfolio concentrations? We've heard a lot about appropriateness today, and we've heard a lot about should it be 10%, should it be 20%. Nicola Horlick said she had 100% in alternatives. Yeah. So, what's going to be right, and for what kind of clients?
I mean, Nicola's, yeah, you're right, she's got 100% in alternatives, which is great. She understands every single product that she's investing in, so that's fine for her. There is no arbitrary percentage. There isn't a 10 or a 5 or a 15%, because actually people's appetite is different depending on where they are on the risk scale and their level of understanding as well. And because we're talking about alternative investments, it strikes me that we're talking about such a broad range of things that range from things which could actually be deemed to be terribly low risk if you get under the bonnet of them, to those that are almost a punt, really. So to lump all of those together and say you should put no more than 10% of these in a portfolio, I'm not sure that that's the right measure. It's understanding what that alternative investment is, the degree of risk within that sector. That should determine what the appropriate level of investment is for each individual client. I just think because everything is being lumped together under one umbrella, it's very difficult for advisors to make that judgment call. It also tends to drive them towards believing that all alternative investments are high risk. Clearly that's not the case, as we know, particularly after today.
Yeah, exactly my thoughts actually. There is a temptation, an understandable temptation, to just write them all off and say they're all high risk, because I think for the advisor, I don't know if you agree with this, but two of the biggest problems are how do I get whole of market knowledge, and how do I mitigate the risk to me as the advisor?
Yeah, and not putting too fine a point on it, the commerciality for an advice firm is, do we want to take that risk? Do we want to take that risk for that extra fee or that extra bit of revenue? And that is, for most firms, they have clearly decided they don't want to do that. And that's unfortunate, because I think that the advisor industry, and moreover the client, are missing out on some good opportunities.
Simon, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.